What made you become a welder?
I became a welder largely because I didn't want to go to school, 4-year college, waste my time, get a degree that I wouldn't use. I wanted to actually get into a trade that I could go out and start working pretty much as soon as I left school there. Christopher Johnson, I'm from Kearney, Nebraska. I graduated from Western Welding Academy in December of 2023.
Where are you currently working and what are you working on?
Right now, I'm in a shop that my buddies and I got, and we're starting a welding shop and a bike repair shop.
Oh yeah, dude, that's awesome. You haven't been out very long. You're already going out on your own. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What specifically made you choose Western Welding Academy?
A lot of the schools around were going to be 2-year associate's degrees that had a lot of that classroom time. You had to get English and math classes done. And you guys were one of the closer and better schools that were solely focused on welding. And I liked the amount of booth time I got to actually have a stinger in my hand and be putting beads down compared
Right.
to sitting in the classroom the whole time.
Yeah, classroom one day a week's not too bad when you get to weld for the other
Nope.
four, especially
Nope.
if you hit up some overtime. What are some highlights of your time at Western Welding Academy?
Definitely going out to the stop sign, a little bit of a third shift thing there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Shotgunning Red Bulls before welding test, stacking cups on Marcus's head when he fell asleep in classroom.
It is a school. We definitely want to get our monies out of it, but still like to have a good time while you're there too. It's not prison.
Oh, yeah.
What was the hardest part of Western Welding Academy and how did you overcome it?
Stainless roots, 5G stainless roots, and horizontal stick were the two things I struggled the most with. And I think how I overcame it was you were out on that yellow rail there, and I came out and I kind of just stood there with you for a couple minutes. You asked me what I was doing, and I said, I don't want to keep doing this. I can't figure it out. You asked me if I wanted you to yell at me, and I said, yeah. So you started yelling at me, just keep doing it. And I think that night you passed me like a couple hours later.
That's one thing that people have a hard time understanding is like, we can tell you how to do it 100 times. We can show you how to do it 100 times. But when it really just comes down to it, you're going to have to put that hood down and just go figure it out. And the great thing about coming to a trade school is that you're not learning from one welder. You're learning from a bunch of different instructors that have been out in the field and they know how to do it. And
I had 4 y'all try to show me how to do the stainless route.
yeah.
And it was finally Austin showing me.
Yeah.
And it just clicked how he did it. I was like, all right, this is how we're doing it.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. The end product is the same for everybody.
Right.
The finish line's there. We can see it. It's just who's walking, who's running, who's riding a bicycle, So I would say the best thing about a trade school, even as a welder myself, and working here now is, yeah, I knew how to weld stainless before I came to work at Western Welding Academy. That wasn't a problem. But then stopping and stepping back and trying to explain to somebody that really sharpens my mind. It's like, I know how to do this. Now I have to explain to you how to do it. And it's like, well, I'm over here dead sprint. Let me slow down and try to figure out if I was learning all over again, how I would try to explain this to myself.
I had an old teacher that said, if you want to prove to me that you really know something, teach someone how to do it. And if they can then do it off your instruction, then I'll trust that you know how to do it.
That is 100% fact. I definitely agree with him. We preach worth ethic, accountability, and integrity here at Western Welding Academy. How important are those things out in the real world?
It's everything. You might not be the fastest. You show up on time and you don't just jerk around the whole time, you're going to have a job the rest of your life.
I feel like it's a pretty simple ask that a lot of people have a problem with.
It is.
How important is networking and communicating with your classmates that you were here with and instructors? How do you think that benefited you?
Oh, hugely. Because I'm kind of at the point now, if I don't know how to do something, I know someone who does, or they know someone who does. Like at this shop that I'm in, our fuse box is right by this door, and we need electrical ran back here. My buddy who's on the other side of this wall, his uncle's an electrician. He said he'll come and do it for us. It's like the saying, right? It's less about what you know and more about who you know. The one thing you told me, one of the first safety briefs we had, I don't care if you have other people's Snapchats or Instagrams, but get their actual phone number and call them up if you need something. Call them up if you need a job. Have an actual number and never change it.
Never change it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, don't ever change your phone number. How many students were in class when you graduated? Do you remember?
There were 4 that started with me. 6 of us graduated.
How many kids were on third shift, do you think, when you were there?
About 90.
Yeah, so about 90 students. So you got 90 people's phone number if you wanted right there off the bat, and you guys all have the same end goal.
Right. I knew over probably 20 guys on a personal level, and then another 40 probably that I just knew.
So yeah, that networking is extremely important. What would you tell somebody that's on the fence about coming to Western Welding Academy?
I would tell someone, if you're even considering doing it, if you have a good work ethic, do it.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people were saying it's just a mid-level school, and what I found about that was you guys aren't teachers, you're welders.
right.
You teach a skill, and if you're willing to put in the work and the time to actually do it, Western will teach you anything you need to know or want to know.
We're trying to grow people. We're making a welder that can tackle anything, not just somebody that knows how to weld.
Right.
So worth ethic, integrity, and accountability, that's kind of what we strive on,
If I were to start over again, besides just making sure I stayed in my booth, which I think I did a decent job at, talking to the instructors, not even specifically to ask questions, just to hear their stories and to hear random advice that they got.
I can definitely see where you're coming from, is just trying to get more, whether it be life advice or just welding advice that most people wouldn't even think about.
Right. I know I was in a hurry to get out of there, but looking back, it was a great time in life. I loved it.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to let me sit down and do an interview with you. So
Yes, sir. Thank you.
it was great seeing you. You look like you got a little more peach fuzz on your face now. And
A little bit there, yeah. Or it's drywall dirt, not sure which.
yeah, well, if you're ever up here in Gillette again, you have to swing back in, say hi. I'll holler at you later.
Have a good one.